What would it be like to be in a place that you think that you're not mentally ill, but you actually, everyone kind of has a piece of that. I would see the doctors and the way he would talk to the nurse, and I was like, this person himself has anger issues. This person himself probably has a lot more to deal with himself than just act like the big doctor.
Recently wrote a book.
Yeah.
Could you
Truth
speak
of
a
the
little bit about
Shadows.
that?
Yeah, in 2020, I released a book called Truth of the Shadows. It took me 2 years to write. The story of writing the book was kind of funny too, because I came up with the idea to do it while I was on tour and I was burnt out. I was coming back from Berlin, somewhere like in the rolling hills outside of Berlin. And I was so burnt out. I was like crying randomly, like super emotional. And I like was just totally confused what was going on. I didn't have a day off for like 6 months before the tour. And then we went straight to rehearsal and straight to tour. I thought it'd be kind of a holiday, but instead it ended up being more stress. And then I was sitting there looking out at the rolling hills outside of Berlin, and I go, I'm going to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book. Why don't I just write a book? And everyone in the tour van was just dying laughing at me. They're like, this guy's already burnt out. There's no way he's going to turn around and write a book now when he gets back. And yeah, I got back and literally started the next day. I took off work from music for 2 weeks and just dove in on the book. It took a year to get the main story out. The editors then started working on their stuff. And I got a publishing deal the next year. And we sold out the limited edition copies, which was awesome. It's had great reviews. We even had a Friday the 13th director read it, and he just loved it. So yeah, I mean,
Which
it
Friday
wasn't
the
really, I
13th
mean, when I was little, I
director?
wanted to write a book someday. Like I always wrote stories, and I always focused on that throughout my lyrics as music. What's his name? Tom, I mean, look his up on.
Yeah.
It's on my website.
Okay. Yeah, there's been
It
like
was
so many Friday the
Tom.
13th
Yeah,
movies.
Tom McClellan.
Okay.
I know, right? Yeah, there's like, yeah, so it's Tom McClellan. Yeah. But yeah, he said it was great, which is cool. And but I mean, yeah, I mean, the story itself is really cool too. It's a dark paranormal horror, and it's with a psychological angle. The story, I had a lot of real experience with it because it takes place in a mental ward, and I used to be a really full-fledged drug addict. I've been clean now for almost 9 years.
Congratulations.
During that stint, I had and during that stint, I had a near-death experience, and it ended me to go to a mental ward for evaluation, actually. And the strangest thing that someone can experience is when they like get into a mental ward and they come in there because they're high on drugs and hallucinating, and they try something stupid like killing themselves, and then they actually come out that they aren't having mental illness that would put them there. I mean, I came out sober. Then all of a sudden I was like, why am I here? This is after 3 weeks of being in the hospital after life-saving surgery. They had to make sure I wasn't a threat to myself or society around me. And while I was there, I was experiencing a lot of stories, a lot of people's real stories, a lot of other patients in there, and being stuck in there for 3 months, almost like a prison. It got real fast. And at the same time, it inspired me in a dark world. What would it be like to be in a place that you think that you're not mentally ill, but you actually, everyone kind of has a piece of that. I would see the doctors and the way he would talk to the nurse, and I was like, this person himself has anger issues. This person himself probably has a lot more to deal with himself than just act like the doctor that knows all, and the doctor that can, handle himself and handle his own mental illness. So I started toying with this in my head. And when I got out, it was always kind of sitting there since 2013, that someday this would increase itself to become a story and influence me as an artist and a musician. And that's what happened, and I mean, none of the stories are directly, I did not do this book to glorify mental illness. Instead, I did this to break down that barrier, to know that everyone suffers in a way. Everyone should not pass judgment to someone else that might be suffering. I want to use it for that as much as writing some dark fiction, something for entertainment too. So,
Yeah, right. When you're speaking about people, like everyone has that. I've noticed, especially within like the last month or so, a lot of people that I've been speaking to, whether it was at work or on the podcast or anywhere, even like day to day, there's some kind of mental illness that's going around. It's like a mass psychosis almost right now. It could be due to like COVID and all of the stuff. Even if you look at the Olympics, Simone Biles, she dropped out because of this, because she said she was going through anxiety issues and things. And I saw another British cricket player who did the same thing. And right now, it's coming to light. I know for a very long time, people were not speaking about it. And you writing this book, it brings it to light. And I think a lot of people, it's probably everyone in the world right now is going through something and they're not able to see it, but at least now they're starting to become aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's the big thing. I think back in the 50s, 60s, it was something that people, mental illness happening that affected their life so strongly they couldn't take care of themselves. They would do all these crazy tests, crazy drugs. And in America, they still throw the pill down the throat real fast. As soon as they see that you're a little depressed, they're like, okay, pharmaceutical company. And they start, which doesn't help all the time. There's a lot of things that can help that someone can try to do, but there's people that get to a point that they can't take care of themselves. And nowadays, there's a lot in the world that we can't take care of. We have no control of. And someone that even might have a spark of depression or a spark of anxiety has to deal with something like COVID or the death of loved ones from a virus that they don't know anything about. And that's going to bring that out. I mean, there's just always these little kind of instigating points, I think, in the world right now. And that's exactly what this book is about. It's about breaking down that wall. So
right.
I agree with you fully.
And when you speak about like how doctors prescribe pharmaceutical medication, a lot of those medications might have severe side effects that comes about that you weren't aware of, and that could be even worse and more detrimental to one's well-being.
Absolutely. I've had two of my friends kill themselves because of medicine. They were put on it for antidepressant qualities, and one of them went cold turkey off of it when he was going to college because he felt better. And of course, you don't want to do that. So he actually forgot his medicine when he went up to Washington, D.C., and then he ended up hanging himself about a week later. And I mean, that's someone that was really happy, and it's just the medicine. So, I mean, I've seen this, and we've all seen this,
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with the heroin epidemic and the medicines, all with that, it's over prescription. But yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of, we're becoming more aware to this and more aware to the pharmaceutical world. So, I mean, it's important.
Catch full episodes of Enter the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM, and Apple Podcasts. Enter the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM.